Thank you for picking up WP Empire Builder through my link today. I have a special training put together for you where I am going to walk you through the setup of this plugin, and I'm also going to teach you how to use it, especially with your existing websites. Now, WP Empire Builder, as you probably know by now, is going to allow you to take multiple websites of yours and run them all from a single WordPress dashboard. And the coolest thing about it is that you can do this with your existing websites with a little bit of work. And that's what I'm going to be showing you here today, is how to take your existing websites especially and hook them up to where you can run them all from a single dashboard. Now, there are a couple of important things to remember here. Number one, any of the sites that you want to use on a single dashboard, they all need to be located on the same web hosting server. So, for example, if you have a GoDaddy account, and that's where you keep all your domain names, and then you have a HostGator account, and that is where all your domain names are hosted at and where the actual websites are, then all of those domain names that are on that one HostGator account, you would be able to use those within a single WordPress dashboard using WP Empire Builder. So if you happen to have a couple of different web hosting accounts that you use, you would need to run multiple dashboards, but chances are if you have multiple web hosting accounts, then you likely have a decent number of domain names on each account. So one way or another, WP Empire Builder can help you to save a ton of time when it comes to running and managing those sites, whether that means making one installation of it or multiple installations of it. So to start out with, when you get to your download page, the link right here for the plugin is what you want to click on and download. This will put a zip file on your computer, and you can then take that zip file over to WordPress. Now, assuming that you have an existing website already that you want to utilize this plugin on, go to the domain name for that site, log into your WordPress dashboard. Now, also keep in mind that the very first site that you use this plugin for is going to be essentially the mother site of all of the other ones that you set up. So that's going to mean that the domain name that you enter to get to the WordPress dashboard to manage all those different sites is going to be the domain name of this very first site that you use. So if there is one that you would prefer to use over the others, make sure you are doing that one first. This would especially be the case if you are using a lot of subdomains. You would probably want to use the main domain name for your original installation, and then set up all of the subdomain sites as your other sites that are on the network. So if you have a bunch of different domains, just pick your favorite one, maybe even pick the shortest one so you have the least amount of typing to do every time to get back to that dashboard. And then you'll be accessing all of the other domain names dashboards through that one website. So once you have your plugin file, go to Plugins, go to Add New. That'll bring you to this page here. Then simply click on Upload Plugin, and then you just need to find the zip file that you downloaded for the plugin and click on Install Now. And once it installs, look for a little blue Activate plugin link that'll show up right around here on the page. Once that is activated, then you can look for Empire Builder in the sidebar menu. Click on Empire Builder and you will reach this page that you see here. It's going to ask you to upgrade your site to the Empire version. And it will also mention what I was talking about before with picking your mother site to make sure that this first site that you're upgrading is the main site that you want to be accessing all the time to reach all of those other sites. So we're just going to click on this button here and go ahead and upgrade this site. And you can see it's really fast. Then you just click on this text link here and you can start managing your website. Now, to get this started, you are going to need to provide cPanel login information for WP Empire Builder to be able to function. The reason why you need to do this is so the plugin can do all of this special management that it needs to do with your sites that it ordinarily wouldn't be able to access everything. It needs to be able to copy files and upload things and change settings and set up new websites for you. So this allows it to do all of that kind of stuff automated without you having to worry about it. Now, there is something else that is worth pointing out, especially if you go for the deluxe version. The deluxe version is going to allow you to manage people's websites for them and also sell entire networks of websites with the plugin included. This is important because if you are managing a website for somebody else, let's say you have a lot of different clients and you're managing a number of different websites for all these different people, typically you would have to have a ton of different login information for all those different websites. You'd have a different login address, a different username, and a password and everything for each of those different websites. Well, with this, you could set up all of those websites on one WP Empire Builder network. Then you could choose whether or not to let the actual owners of those sites manage things like plugins and themes. So you can actually kind of keep control over the base software and stuff that's on their site. Still give them access to a WordPress dashboard, but then you would also have access from it. But not only that, you could access all of your different sites from a single dashboard, whereas each individual owner would only be able to access their actual website. So things like that are built into this. If you need any help on that, there's plenty of help available to learn how to set all that stuff up. So for now, all you need to do is provide your cPanel username and password, and then we're going to click on the Submit button down here to proceed. So once your cPanel information is entered, it's saved, and you only have to enter that in once. You won't ever have to come back here and punch this information into this plugin again. Now, once you have this site set up, at this point, you can go ahead and start managing this particular website. However, most of you are going to want to continue on and add additional websites on. So I wanted to show you guys how to accomplish this. What we're going to do is first go to Empire Builder and add new site. This allows us to set up a new website that is going to be on this network. Now, this whole thing will actually work pretty much the same whether you are setting up a brand new website here or if you are trying to import an existing website into your network. There's just going to be one minor exception. So first, what you want to do up top here, you have three different choices. You need to specify where the website is. If it is a standalone domain name, you would select New Domain right here and type in the end of the domain name. So it could be extendazon.com, for example. If this was a subdirectory of this existing website, that would be something like demo.extendazon.com/site2. That would get typed into here. The other site that I'm going to set up on this network for this particular tutorial happens to be another subdomain. It is demo2.extendazon.com. So I'm going to type in demo2.extendazon.com, except you'll notice right here the end of the subdomain is actually already entered. So demo2 is actually the only part that I need to type in. Up here, if I was doing the subdirectory, I would only need to type in the subdirectory name. Just look for what is in bold over here to the right, and that is what you should be typing into the box. So you don't fill in all three, you just fill in the appropriate one for whatever you are installing or transferring over. Select the appropriate bubble, and then you can continue down. So then you just provide a title and a description for your site. Now, here's the part that makes a difference between a brand new site and an existing website, and that's this little checkbox right here. You click on Import Content from Existing Site. Then all you do is provide information for this site. So the URL we're going to do demo2.extendazon.com. Now you're typing in the full URL here, and then you're going to be typing in the username and password. So now that I have punched in the WordPress dashboard login information for the website that I want to transfer, then I click on the button and it processes and it moves everything over to me. So now I have two sites that are running on my network, and both of these were existing websites that were already there before I ever put this software on it. So now I want to show you guys how to manage these websites and what you can do with it, and how this is going to help to save you a ton of time and effort. The first thing, I want to refresh my page here. Up in the top left where it says My Sites, every new site that you add on is going to be listed right here. So as you add on more sites they'll show up here, and then all you have to do to manage one of them is just hover over one and go to the dashboard. So you're now on the dashboard for that specific website, and then you can work on that site as normal. Nothing confusing about it. This makes it really easy to then switch back and forth from one site to the next. So one second you're editing one site, and the next second you're editing another site. And there's no extra logging in or anything of that nature that you need to do. So now you should notice that when you're managing a dashboard for a site that is not your main site, you're not actually accessing that dashboard through the normal domain name. You can see here I'm accessing the demo site number 2 that I set up through the original demo site domain. I'm on demo.extendazon.com, and then I'm actually in a subdirectory of it. Well, all this is really something that's taken care of for you up here, but I just wanted to point out that going to your old dashboard will no longer pull up the correct thing here like it is showing you on this page. So beyond managing your individual sites just how you normally would from logging into your WordPress dashboard, the other main thing worth pointing out is this network admin. In the network admin, you are administering the entire network. So we're talking about all the sites that you have added on that are listed down below here. Well, through this admin, there are a number of different things that you can do that are pretty useful. Number one, we're going to go to the Sites link. On the Sites page, we have all the different sites that we have set up on this network, starting with our main site here, and then continuing on with the other network sites that we have added. You can quickly go and visit a dashboard or the actual live website of one of these sites through here. You can edit the title and description information through these edit links. But one of the more important things is the clone link. You can actually copy an entire website from one of your existing websites. We're talking about plugin settings and theme settings, content, everything. So if you have a basic structure that you find yourself using for each new site that you're building, and then maybe you just kind of go through and customize that particular structure and design for each individual website, this feature here can save you a ton of time. You simply copy your existing website to a new website, and then you can just make some modifications to it instead of having to go through and manually set up all the settings and all the plugins and the theme settings, and then setting up all your content that you're going to be customizing and all the different pages and stuff too. There's really a lot that goes along with setting up, especially a more custom-made type of WordPress site like I like to build and like I teach others to build. So this clone feature offers a major time-saving advantage. Now, if you also need to remove a site, you can do that through here, but make sure you are careful when doing so, because you may not be able to recover your information anymore after doing that. Now, other things that you can manage. users. This one is really important if more than just you will be having access to these websites. What I'm talking about here is, let's say you have an employee that you've hired to add content to a particular site. You can create a user for them here and give them access to just one particular website. If you are building websites for clients and you're managing all their websites on one network, so each one of these could be a client website, but then your client may only have access to just his website. And you do that through users here by creating a user for them and just assigning them to one particular site on your network. So this is a really, really handy feature for particular situations. Now the next thing I want to point out is themes. You have themes that are coming from either of the two websites that you've added on to the network, or even beyond that, if you start adding even more stuff, you're going to have a list of themes and a list of plugins here. It kind of works like it did on a single website, but here you're choosing entire groups of sites on your network that you want to use particular things. And there are also defaults. So whenever you create a new site on your network, it's going to use whatever default theme you have set up. So over here, if I wanted to be using Weaver 2 instead for my default theme, I would just select that down here. If I had existing sites on my network that I wanted to switch over to Weaver 2, I can click on this and I can update my sites. So they're actually all using the same theme. Now, don't make changes like the theme changes, for example, to live existing websites. The whole point with something like that would be when you're setting up a new site so you can add on the themes and the plugins and stuff that you really want to be using, and you don't have to go searching back through your computer, going and getting download links for all this stuff. It's all built into your network for you. And so you have the same type of thing with your plugins as well. You can activate them on particular sites. You can choose to deactivate things, like for example, WP Empire Builder is activated on the entire network. Obviously, you would not want to be deactivating that in this particular case because you're running your whole network with it. But all the other plugins, you can easily mix and match and choose which sites you want to use them on, and even which sites you want to make them available to. So if you have a bunch of clients and you set up these websites for them, and then maybe you make available to them a library of software that you've purchased developers licenses for, then you can make that software available to them without actually giving them copies of the software. And then they can actually choose on a site-by-site basis through their dashboard. They can kind of go in and choose which plugins to use and which ones not to use. As you see here, they can't really delete these plugins, so to speak, like you could in a normal WordPress. They can either activate them or deactivate them. Now, one of the last things that I want to talk about involves the actual transferring of a website. What I started out doing under Empire Builder and Add New Site. This content importing here, it is important to understand that this may not be something that you can do with every single website. It really is going to depend on what that website is and what it does. For example, if you have an Amazon affiliate website and you're using Amazon plugins that have shortcodes in the pages to generate the ads, and maybe you have a theme like Weaver 2 and all these customized design settings set up on it, then you'll actually notice that this copying feature, this import feature here, is not going to copy 100% of your website for you. What this is doing is it is copying the content itself. So we're talking about what is actually contained within the pages. So if you are just creating a plain text website, essentially, this feature can work for you, especially if you don't mind changing the design of it, because whatever you import this with is going to use settings from your default theme that you have set up. Make default for new sites. So whatever you have selected here is what is going to be used when you import your new content. So I wanted to make that very clear before you go and try to import an Amazon affiliate site like this. What I would recommend to do, if you want to do this with your Amazon affiliate sites, is number one, start out by using one of those sites as the main site of your network. So just like I started off doing, install the plugin on one site and upgrade it to make it the mother site of the WP Empire Builder Network. Then what you can do with the additional sites, you can either choose to keep those sites where they are, but if you really want to put them on your network, I have worked out one other solution for you, which I'm going to be teaching you. For this second solution, to import your existing Amazon affiliate sites, please take a look at the second video included with this bonus offer.